Good evening. We are back at Home Park and we're back with Friday night football. Hello, good evening and welcome to Argyle TV. We are back here at Home Park this evening in what feels like forever. It's been quite a while since our home game here. It was, in fact, October was the last time we played a league game here at Home Park, and I think it's safe to say that we've missed it. A full house tonight on Friday night, which is something extra special to look forward to, and a perfect setting for football. Coming up over the next 45 minutes or so before kick-off, we will be building up for all the action, Argyle against Port Vale, and bringing you all the team news and views from inside both camps. As today is Argyle's designated academy fixture day, we'll also be joined by the Director of Football, Neil Dewsnip, and Academy Manager Phil Stokes will be with us soon to celebrate our younger players. And of course, we want to hear from you all about the beautiful game here at Home Park. And as always, I can't do it on my own, and I am pleased to say I am once again joined by none other than Ian Stonebridge. Ian, I feel like I haven't seen you in as long as I haven't seen a game here at Home Park.
It's been a while, hasn't it? But yeah, fantastic to be back tonight, and a bit cold, but lovely evening for it. So really looking forward to the game.
Yeah. Now I've got a mention written down here. Former Argyle striker Ian Stonebridge, as we know, and the man who scored the winner the last time we beat Port Vale in 2004.
Yeah, apparently.
Nice.
So I have to apologise. Somebody spoke to me about this just about 20 minutes ago, and I just had no recollection of it whatsoever. But then I did remember the goal. It was a great miss hit. Went through about two people's legs, bobbled along the ground into the corner, but. It was a winning goal, so yeah.
I feel like this could have been your moment to own that goal, Ian, and you've just classed it as a miss hit.
We've got to be honest. I mean, it was a great winning goal, but it was a miss hit, and it just nestled in the corner. So no, that was a fun day. Yeah.
Regardless of how the goal was scored, hopefully we can have a repeat this evening with Argyle against Port Vale.
I'd definitely take that. Although we left it rather late that day, so
okay.
It was I think in injury time as well. So maybe we can be a bit calmer than that tonight and have a more comfortable evening, hopefully.
Yeah, I think so. And it's going to be a busy evening tonight, sold out, full crowd, and it's a Friday. What kind of difference does that make to everyone coming along?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was trying to think about whether we played very often. I don't remember a Friday evening game at all, so it's a different proposition. I think the fact that it's a full house again is just absolutely fantastic, and from the players' point of view as well, coming off the back of a couple of draws away from home, I think it's a really important one for them to get back on track in terms of setting out a marker that they're top of the league, and this again, Home Park is a fortress where they've obviously not been beaten yet, to continue that winning streak.
Yeah, I think you can probably gather from looking at us, it is a little bit chilly this evening, but I don't think that will have any impact on the Green Army, will it, at all? The cold, the weather, it never impacts them. They are always ready to give the team everything.
Yeah, if anything, I think they'll need to show even more energy to stay warm tonight. So hopefully the team on the pitch can provide the impetus for that.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you, Ian. Now, as we've been saying, it has been over a month since we were last here playing a league game at Home Park. And the players have also had a little bit of a break, as it's been a fortnight since they last played at all. Argyle boss Stephen Schumacher sat down with Charlie Price to discuss how much he is looking forward to the game tonight.
If it's half as good as what that atmosphere in the Exeter game was, then yeah, it'll be special. I think night games are always good here. I love it. Under the lights, and I'm hearing it's a sellout again, which is amazing. So yeah, can't wait. As you say, it feels like forever ago, but come on, roll on Friday.
Yeah, it's I think the 5th time we've sold over 15,000 tickets in a row at home, which hasn't been done in ages, and it adds to everything, doesn't it? That evening game, another sellout, people are desperate to come and watch. We haven't played here for ages as well. It all kind of is building to a classic Friday night light football.
Yeah, so no pressure, lad.
Exactly.
Get out there and perform. No, it's brilliant, and for us to do that and generate that excitement that people want to come and watch, it's amazing. And the players have been fantastic, and they need to continue to play like this, because the home form that we've got, with the help from our fans and the atmosphere we get, has been special. 9 wins on a row, going for 10 in a row. It's been great. So yeah, start the game positively, hopefully tomorrow night, and go and do the job to get 3 points.
How has the last week been? Because obviously we didn't have a game on Saturday. Chance to kind of just refresh everything, I presume. Yeah,
it was good, to be fair. I think came at a good time. We had 3 away games on the spin, all on the road. Picked up a few injuries. Lads looked a little bit tired, played a lot of minutes, and yeah, having that weekend off just give everybody time to breathe and take stock of what's been going on. So the players who needed to do a little bit on the Friday, who hadn't played an awful lot of minutes, trained on the Friday, but everybody else had the 3 days to go and see family or do whatever and just switch off. And then when we got them back in on Monday, everybody looked real fresh. There was a zip about the training session, and yeah, it's been good all week. So fingers crossed we can take that into tomorrow night. Yeah, I imagine as much as the fans are looking forward to a home game, the players must be as well, having had a little break too. Yeah, it's been a long time. Obviously, we played the Charlton game, which was a lot different to what we're going to find on Friday night. But yeah, it's important that we know what's got us so much success here at Home Park, and we try and emulate that and do it again. So the lads say it's been a tough month of November. It was hard. Poor result in the cup, 2 tough away games in the league, which we went unbeaten in, and we want to try and keep this unbeaten run going. So yeah, I'm sure they're all looking forward to it as much as I am. To keep it going, got to get past Port Vale, newly promoted side, 10th in the table. How do you see them? I think they're doing great. I think they've had a brilliant start, coming up from League 2, settling straight in, and I've carried on their momentum that they had built last year. They've been good. They cross a lot of balls into the box. They get good bodies in there, and they're a hard team to play against. They come and get after you and pressure, which is tricky. So they're not going to stand here, I wouldn't imagine, and let us have it all our own way. So it's going to be a good game, and it's one I'm really looking forward to. What are the keys then to continuing it? Same. Again, try and play it with the energy that we need. And if we go through some adversity, which I'm sure we will at stages in the game, then we overcome it, and the crowd stick behind us and keep encouraging the players to keep fighting and keep pushing on, because we've shown before when we're at it and we go ahead in a Home Park, we look a strong team, but if we ever go behind, then we've got it in us to react as well. So, yeah, just continue the standards of what we've been building for the last 4 or 5 months, whatever it is.
Stephen Schumacher talking to Charlie Price there. Now let's have a little look at the squad that he has selected for this evening. They are as follows: Michael Cooper, Macaulay Gillespie, Jordan Houghton. I can hear his footsteps. It's gone. It's fine. We'll carry on. Jordan Houghton, James Wilson, Joe Edwards, Ryan Hardy, Niall Ennis, Barley Mumba, Morgan Whitaker, Adam Randall and Nigel Lonvike. I should say the footsteps I was referring to were those of Pilgrim Pete, not Jordan Houghton. I don't know how I would recognise those. Ian, the squad that we've got this evening, I mean, first of all, it's worth mentioning the fixtures have been lighter this month, so everyone will have had a chance to have a break. That's got to be a positive for them, isn't it?
Definitely. I think the break due to the FA Cup last weekend, in lots of ways was a blessing to allow maybe that bit more recovery and a couple, I think, of maybe minor injuries, minor knocks from the last games before that have allowed people to recover and get back into the team, into the squad. Really good to see Danny Mayer on the bench. He's obviously not been involved for a little while, so it's a good sign to see him getting back into contention.
Yeah.
And it's a strong side, and hopefully they can get the right result tonight.
Yeah, we've got to mention the bench as well, which consists of Callum Burton, Matt Butcher, Danny Mayer, as he instead, Michael Miller, Sam Cosgrove, Brendan Galloway and Freddie Isaka. Freddie Isaka's getting, a few call-ups, isn't he? It must be brilliant for him being so young.
Yeah, it's great, and I know we had the game here recently where lots of the young players were involved. Obviously, Caleb Roberts getting his first senior goal, and to see Freddie involved in a game of this magnitude on an evening like tonight is great. It's great for the academy, great for Freddie himself as well.
And December in particular is going to be quite a busy month. We've got I can see your shadow, Pete. I know when you're on your way to arrive. Would you like to give us a prediction? Yeah, go on. Okay, it's threatening at the moment. Oh, 0-0. 1-0. 2-3. 3-1. 3-1. You kept me guessing the whole way there. Thanks, Pete. Just thought he was going to punch both of us for a moment. Anyway, sorry. And as we were saying, December, 5 games, and I think 3 of which are at home. So it's going to be quite a pivotal month for Argyle.
It definitely is. We feel like it's been a while since we've been here, so it kind of adds up, I guess, that we've got those home games coming up on the horizon. So, getting on a really good run and getting back to winning ways in the league at least is really important. Just to continue to make the most of being at the top of the league. The longer we can stay there, obviously the better. And tonight's a great opportunity to consolidate that.
Yeah. Do you think, looking at the bench that we've got, you mentioned Danny Mayer, do you think it's possible we will see him come from the bench into the game, or do you think this is more of a transition period still, just getting his name back on the list?
You'd hope so. I think, for me, the involvement of a player on the bench would kind of normally suggest that they're ready. There may be a plan in place as to how long is appropriate for him to play. So it might not, if there's a need to make a change early in the game, it might not be him at that stage, but there might be a plan that he can have half an hour. If so, it would be obviously great to see him back on the pitch and doing what he does best.
Yeah, certainly we'll have to keep our eyes peeled as the game progresses. Let's have a little look at Port Vale's team as well for this evening. They are a newly promoted side coming against us, and they consist of Jack Stevens, Dan Jones, Connor Hall, Nathan Smith, David Worrell, Ben Garrity, James Wilson, Tom Conlon, Malvin Benning, Gavin Massey and Daniel Butterworth. Newly promoted team, Ian, as we've mentioned. Do you think these are going to be much of a threat to Argyle? I mean, you can't take everything for granted anyway. That would be silly. But how confident do you think Argyle are going to feel going against this squad tonight?
Yeah, it is a tricky game, because I think every match when you're top of the league and here at Home Park, there's not really a great deal of pressure on Port Vale coming here tonight. The expectation levels for them, is probably that they're not going to get a result, from everyone else looking in. So I'm sure as a team and a squad, as a management team, they'll be coming here looking to upset that. They're doing well in the league. Obviously, you mentioned they're newly promoted, so to be where they are at this stage of the season shows that they're a really competent team. And as you said, they'll be coming here with nothing really to lose. Come out and put on a good performance, and for them, they'll be hoping they can upset the odds and get a result.
Yeah. And a name that we were discussing before we were on air was Ellis Harrison, who is not appearing at all in the starting 11 or on the subs bench. Do you think that's going to make an impact against their team?
I think, any team that's got their top scorer that's missing, you know, it's clearly a loss to them, but it's obviously something that Argyle won't take for granted. You know, they've got those defenders in there for Argyle tonight need to obviously still be right in their game, communicating, organising, making sure that Adam Randall and Jordan Houghton in front protect them, and hopefully we can see a clean sheet tonight and some goals down the other end.
Yeah, I mean, he has 7 league goals to his name, so I don't think it's a bad thing for us that we're not seeing him this evening.
No, certainly not, but I'm sure they've got some competent replacements as well, so you know, we'll maybe hedge our bets at this stage. But yeah, for Argyle it's something else that they don't have to deal with, but you know, there'll always be a problem that they pose, and I'm sure at some point, you know, Argyle will have to defend the goal, and Port Vale will put us under a bit of pressure, however the game goes tonight. And
I think you mentioned a little bit earlier on the phrase that's been thrown around sometimes is Fortress Home Park, Fortress Argyle. That's the kind of mentality that I think Argyle want to be capitalising on tonight, isn't it?
It is. You know, you look at the last couple of league games where we've got those draws away from home. You know, it shows it is much tougher. You know, again, particularly when you're top of the league. Going away from home, it's always a long trip for Argyle, so that can be a real challenge. So it's always important to make the most of those home games. So, you know, as you said, the more points you can pick up on nights like tonight, the better it bodes for the rest of the season. And
this will very much be the kind of night that I think everyone would love to see a win. While we want to continue the unbeaten streak, and being unbeaten, of course, you know, we could have a draw as well, but I think tonight is the kind of night you would want to win on, isn't it?
It is, and it does really feel like we've had that little bit of a break. So psychologically, I just think to get back on track with a really strong result and 3 points tonight would do absolute wonders for the confidence of the team and everyone around the club.
Yeah, everybody ready and raring to
Absolutely.
go, I'm sure. Argyle are, of course, on this unbeaten run of 15 games so far, and they've won all of their league games here, which is, you know, absolutely amazing to see. What do you think will be playing on their minds in regards to that, Ian?
I think from their point of view, they'll just be keen to get back out here at home. Keen to, you know, again, put down another marker, put down a strong performance. You know, not saying those draws away from home have been bad results, but clearly when you're top of the league, you need to keep setting the pace with getting those points on the board. So they'll be really keen to come out, put on a really good performance in front of the big crowd that's coming tonight, and yeah, hopefully we can see that, some positivity, some good attacking play that we know the team are capable of, and some goals going in as well.
And I think it's not unfair to say that the team has been rocked by a few injuries of late, particularly defensively. Do you think that, you know, has impacted the style of play that Stephen Schumacher has been, you know, rolling out?
There's no doubt that it disrupts the flow of the team. You know, arguably that's especially important at the back, where you build those relationships. You know, up front we're kind of used to the interchanging of the forward players and the rotation of the strikers. You know, at the back, perhaps you'd want a slightly more settled lineup. So some of the injuries have disrupted that a little bit. So, you know, they'll be keen to get those players back. But in the meantime, you know, it looks to me like a really strong lineup tonight, and I'm confident they can keep that clean sheet and get that win for Argyle.
Yeah. And while we mention the unbeaten run, we also need to mention that while Argyle, you know, top of the league, we are doing fantastically well. They haven't actually managed to keep a clean sheet in 7 matches. So do you think those key battles are going to be in the defensive region for Argyle tonight? You know,
we'd have to be confident that if we do keep Port Vale out, that we've got enough firepower to get a goal here at home at least to win the game. And I know that, you know, Mike Cooper and the defenders in front of him will be really keen. They really take great pride in keeping a clean sheet. You know, goalkeepers, it's what they measure themselves by, you know. So they'll be desperate to keep Port Vale at bay today. And yeah, I'm confident they can do it. It's, you know, we should note as well, it's not just the defence and the keeper that are responsible for defending, because out of possession, everyone has that responsibility. You know, mentioned already Adam Randall and Jordan Houghton doing that screening job in front of them in the midfield, and Joe Edwards and Barley Mumba, the wing backs, obviously will have their lots of work to get through as well. So it's a complete team effort, although we sometimes credit the defence and the keepers if there is a clean sheet. So yeah.
And we were talking as well, the defensive lineup that Stephen Schumacher has picked this evening. Interested to see who's going to be playing in what particular position. You mentioned having Lonvike possibly in the middle, but we don't know for sure, do we?
Yeah, it's obviously fairly straightforward that Gillespie will be on the left-hand side, left-footed. But yeah, whether James Wilson or Nigel Lonvike end up in the middle remains to be seen. There's obviously benefits to each way round. Obviously, you know, Lonvike's slightly bigger, maybe slightly more powerful in the air, but maybe that organisational factor and the communication and experience of James Wilson will be valuable. So yeah, we'll have to wait perhaps till kick-off before we find that out.
Yeah, watch this space. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, we are going to be changing tact a little bit and talking to Director of Football Neil Dewsnip. So stay with us and don't go anywhere.
Ball in, good goal, Borja. Still progress into the second division.
Welcome back. It is Friday night here at Home Park and the return of league action here inside the stadium for the first time in a month. And we would, of course, love to hear from you. Get in touch with us on the socials. The best one, as I've said before, is Twitter because it's the only one they trust me with. At Argyle, get in touch, send us a message. We would love to hear from you and give you a shout out throughout the course of the Argyle TV programme this evening. Now, I'm pleased to say, joining us on Argyle TV is Director of Football Neil Dewsnip. How are you doing this evening, Neil?
I'm very good, thank you. You?
I'm very good. You're looking
cold.
very warm. Are you cold?
I
was
am
gonna
freezing.
Say you've gone for the substantial
I've got
puffer
about
coat
5
this evening.
coats underneath this one.
You've got five. Actually, I think I've got five layers on as well, so there must be something in the air this evening. How good is it to be back here at Home Park playing a league game here, Neil?
Well, it seems so long since we last played here, so we're delighted to be back. Delighted for a number of reasons, but the most important is that Green Army doesn't half help us, and it's full again, isn't it, tonight? Yeah. So we're delighted, and the players are really excited to get at it.
Yeah, there's nothing better, I think, than a sold-out Home Park, and you know, continually selling out and drawing in the crowds. I think is just a testament to Argyle's capability and what they're delivering on and off the pitch at the moment.
Well, I think it's a partnership, isn't it? The team are doing really well, but there's been a number of times this season when that Green Army have got us over the line right at the death, and that's why we enjoy being here so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Now today is our designated academy fixture, and you have a lot to do with goes on with that. So what do you see as the importance with a day like today?
Well, it's just a fantastic opportunity for the youngsters who will all be here. I believe the under-8s are actually going to play at half-time on the pitch. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I'm wondering how the manager is going to be in two places. He needs to be in the dressing room doing a half-time debrief and watching his son play at the same time. That should be fun. So it's just lovely, isn't it? So the youngsters will get the chance to be on Home Park. The other age group's going to walk around the pitch, and with a bit of luck, the Green Army's going to make a big fuss of them.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. And talking of the academy, what is the quality like in the academy at the moment?
Oh, well, we're delighted. So if I kind of go from the top downwards,
yeah, please.
Well, we've got Michael and Adam starting this evening. We've got young Freddie Asaka on the bench, which is excellent. We've got many others, as you know, who have played already this season, and without naming them all, the point is it's very healthy. We've got lots of young players bubbling under. Kevin Nanscoville links between the academy and the first team manager. Yeah. So Stephen is informed all the time about what's going on.
And it must be fantastic to see academy players like some of the names that you mentioned, you know, coming through the ranks and, like you said, starting or being on the bench this evening for the first team.
It's the heartbeat of the club, isn't it? There is nothing better, I guess, than hearing that chance. He's one of our own. Well, that's the whole point. You know, I think throughout my career I've been heavily involved in young player development, and Argyle is another example of the fact that if you put the hard work in the academy, and we have some fantastic staff led by Phil Stokes, that we can do that. Yeah. What we want to do is have a conveyor belt of Michael Coopers and Adam Randalls.
Yeah. And we're going to be talking to Phil in a minute, but it's interesting you mentioned this conveyor belt, because I was going to say, you know, what else can be done? What more can we do for the academy? And I suppose that's the kind of output that you'd love, homegrown talent.
Well, we were having a discussion this afternoon about sponsorship for the teams. So one of the things that Argyle has an issue with at academy level is the fact that geographically we can't get to play as many of the Cat 1s that we would want to play. It's a huge investment for us to go up and down the country, as you'll appreciate. And that means that we're restricted to playing the same old kind of teams on a regular basis.
Okay.
And that's okay to a point, but particularly as the players advance in their development, they need to be tested further. What we want to do is take them on trips around Europe. We want to take them up to play Liverpool and Everton regularly, and Rangers and Celtic, and all those opportunities which will help their development.
Yeah, that will be, I'm sure that would be very helpful in their, not only their development, but like you said, just changing the dynamics of how they play when they come up through the ranks.
Yeah, most definitely. And we're starting to get a little flavour of international players. So Freddie Asaka and Joe Hatch have recently come back from a successful tournament with Wales. They've managed to qualify for the next stage of the Euros, which I think is quite unique for the Welsh at that age group. So good for them. And again, further experiences. We've got 4 youngsters going to an England camp in a couple of weeks' time. So again, the kind of future is very healthy, but it's a hard journey. And they're going to need a lot of support and maybe a little bit of luck along the way.
Yeah, and we're talking there about, you know, their physical presence on the pitch and, you know, the playing from day to day. But what are the pressures that young players like that are under, and how do you help kind of manage that and make sure that they can deal with those kind of pressures?
Sure. Well, I think they're all entitled to their dream. And you know, if I think back to being their age, like most youngsters of my era, we all wanted to be professional footballers, and they should have that dream, and they're entitled to that dream. What I would say is that we don't promise. We wouldn't promise at Argyle that they're going to be.
Sure.
What we do is we promise them a good education, not just in football, but across all the kind of 4 corners, as we call it, physical, mental, social. It's not just about football. Then if they become a talented footballer as well, then that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's all about, I suppose, managing expectations and providing opportunities, like you said, so they can follow their dream.
Absolutely.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, Neil. You can go off and warm up a little
I am.
before the game
I'll
starts.
leave you to freeze.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
See you later, Neil. Right, we're going to hear from one of those talented young players now that me and Neil have been talking about. And Caleb Roberts is his name. Caleb became the club's 5th youngest goal scorer when he scored against Charlton just last Tuesday. And he reacted to that with Charlie Price.
Don't know whether you know this, but you've just become Argyle's 5th youngest goal scorer. How did it feel?
Yeah, no, it's great. It was such a good feeling. Obviously, I've played a couple of games now and haven't managed to score, so just getting my name on the score sheet's good.
You've been in pretty good goal scoring form for the under-18s, though, haven't you? So you've carried that in.
Yeah. I've bagged a few, to be fair, more than most of my season so far. But yeah, no, it's good. I'm in good form.
What do you think of the game as a whole? Because it seemed like a pretty comfortable performance, pretty good performance from you guys. How did you see it?
Yeah, no, it was good, but at some points it got scrappy. But like, we had the senior players there to just get hold of the game, and like Anarando just quiet it down and stuff.
Was it like playing alongside Rands? Because he's not that old himself, and he was only a couple of years he was in your shoes playing in this competition as a youngster.
No, it's so helpful, if you know what I mean, because you got someone to look up to, and like, you know, to follow his actions, if you know what I mean. So yeah, he's just setting an example of being on the pitch.
Were your family here today?
Yeah, they're watching. Yeah.
They're probably quite stoked as well about that. Yeah. Do playing in these games give you a taste of wanting more and more of these?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's like a confidence booster, isn't it? Like, just getting to play for the first team, getting minutes. Now we're through to the next round, so that'll be hopefully some more minutes again. But yeah, it's good.
And only 3 games from Wembley, potentially, Caleb.
Yeah, that's good. That'd be amazing.
It is great to see young players doing well, isn't it? Caleb Roberts there. And there's plenty going on tonight to help celebrate the academy, with every member invited to come and watch the game, and also members from the under-7s to the under-18s. We'll do a lap of appreciation at half-time, something that Neil touched on when we were speaking with him there. So do keep your eyes peeled on the pitch at half-time to see all of our young stars in action. And in just a moment, we will be continuing our academy chat with the academy manager, Phil Stokes, coming up next. welcome back. You are watching Argyle TV as we build up to all of the action. Argyle against Port Vale very shortly this evening in Sky Bet League One. Tonight is our designated Academy Day, and we are joined by the Academy Manager, Phil Stokes. Hello, Phil. How are you doing this evening?
Yeah, really well, Aaron. Really excited for this evening.
Yeah, thank you for joining us this evening, because there is a lot going on with it being, you know, one of the Academy days. You are the Academy Manager. Just talk to me a little bit about your role and how long you've been doing it, and, you know, what you enjoy about it.
Yeah, so I've been at the club 11 years, 4 years as Academy Manager. I have to say, I absolutely love my role. What a fantastic football club I work for. Really proud and privileged to turn up for work every day, trying to develop the next generation of talent for the first team.
Yeah, I mean, that is the dream, isn't it?
It certainly is the dream, and we try our best to replicate that. You know, the likes of Mike and Adam are really role models for our young players at this moment in time, and no two better examples that we've had, really.
Absolutely, yeah. And talk to me then a little bit about days like today and what they serve to do within the Argyle community.
Yeah, so tonight's about, again, bringing the academy, everyone involved in the academy, from the players, the parents, the sponsors, you know, everyone associated, connected, partners, and able to celebrate and watch the game as they would do as a fan and as a spectator, and hopefully, you know, sensing and seeing that, you know, one day that could be them on that pitch for those young players. And I think from that perspective, you know, there's a number of different things, a lot of commitment and time that everybody puts into this. I haven't even mentioned the staff there, you know, that are celebrating again tonight. You know, everyone puts a lot of effort in, and I can't thank them enough, really, for that.
Oh, that's nice, very nice to get that message out there. Now, Academy Manager for 4 years, how have you seen it grow over that period of time?
Yeah, I think everything in terms of player productivity. We did a bit of research recently in terms of our productivity over the last 3 years, which has jumped significantly. And I think, again, I just allude to it's through the hard work of everybody. You know, more appearances, more international recognition, more players coming through the system into the first team, but also players that unfortunately perhaps aren't offered a professional contract going on and being successful in life as well. It's just as proud. So there's a number of things across a number of different levels in a footballing school type of thing, or setting that we provide in the academy, which players go on a number of different journeys, which we're really proud of.
I suppose as well, you know, like you said, if people maybe don't necessarily get the contract on the pitch, but it's like you're kind of developing a positive mentality off the pitch as well with these youngsters. Yeah,
I think well-rounded individuals are the main thing. We want them to come out as good citizens, good people after our experiences. You know, there's a number of different challenges and bumps in the road that they'll get being a professional footballer, you know, and that's in life in general, and we just want them to kind of experience those as they go through the age groups. And, you know, the dream again is to hopefully replicate what Adam and Mike are doing and go on, but if not, they've had a really good experience in our academy, in our football club, and you know, they hold it and they look back at those years they've had. You know, I'm sure Mike and Adam look back regularly to look back and say what a wonderful opportunity and what, you know, a privilege that was, and many more as well. Absolutely.
And you know, you touched on it a moment ago, but what would you say are the keys to building a successful academy?
Well, I think the main thing for me are the people, the staff. That's key. Without them and without my staff and my support I get around us, the board of directors, everybody that's involved, that's the key. Everybody plays their small part in player development. It's not a one person, one, you know, that has the significant. It's absolutely everyone. You know, the under-9s coach, the under-10s, all the way through play that small part, as well as the medical staff, as well as the sports science staff, and then they have to go into a club where firmly, you know, the owners, the chairman, the manager, everybody buys into youth development. So it is an absolute long process, and everybody is integral as part of that. And
everyone's involved.
And I think that's what makes it so special at the moment, that there's a clear plan, there's a clear pathway. Neil Dewsnip, you know, has come in as director of football and set that strategy right from the word go, and everybody's living and breathing it, and that's the results of why you're seeing us doing so well today.
And how are you seeing us at the moment, seeing the academy at the moment? How well are they doing? Talk to us a little bit about that. You must be very proud as the manager.
Yeah, and again, lots of different age groups, lots of different things I see on a basis, from the under-9s or under-10s winning a futsal festival to the under-18s that are doing really well in their league. I think we had an under-12s festival that they did really well in. Lots of good work that goes on across the board, across the age groups. And, you know, we have got some good players that hopefully, with a little bit of good coaching from our staff and support, we can get them even better, and hopefully one day, even more productivity, more, players into the first team. One day we'd love to have a team full of them in the future.
We'll keep our eyes peeled and our fingers crossed for sure. I think that would be amazing to see. Thank you so much for being with us this evening, Phil. Again, like I said to Neil, I will leave you to go back inside and warm up before the game kicks off, but thank you very much, and thanks for talking to us about the academy. Right, back on to tonight then. Let's focus on our opponents, Port Vale. They are currently 10th in the league at the moment, and they have won their last 2 matches. They've been awkward opposition for many an opponent, and their manager, Darryl Clark, hopes they will be the same against Argyle tonight.
We want to test ourselves against the best team in the league so far. So Plymouth's a big club, very well supported club. The manager there's done that excellent. Shuey's done there great, and we go there, but we go there confident. We're ready to take on these challenges. Long trip, so we'll be setting off today, ready for the game tomorrow night.
When you've played if you like, the bigger teams in the division, Sheffield Wednesday and those type of sides, what do you kind of get from them when you play a team that is top of the league? Is there any kind of different way to approach it, or do you learn from playing the bigger sides when you play another big team?
No, like I say, every week we have consistencies of how we work as a staff, and nothing changes. Whoever the team, the strengths, the weaknesses are assessed, and we try and combat both of them. And we work away. The next game's Plymouth away, the team that's flying, but we go there knowing that if we're at our best, we can give them more than just a game. We can get after them. We want to get after them. We try to be attacking in majority of our games this season to try and beat the teams that are at the top end of the division as well as the ones at the bottom.
Not many teams you'll come across have won every single home game so far in the league this season. So does that make it a little bit kind of like you want to bloody their nose a little bit? You want
too right we do. Their own form's outstanding. The fans will be really enjoying the journey. I can't believe they got 80 odd points last season and didn't make the top 6, so they'll be licking the wounds there, but that certainly they haven't had a hangover from that because they're flying this season. But we go there knowing if my group of players can put on the performance I know they're capable of, we can go there and shock them.
Welcome back. I am joined by Ian Stonebridge once again because we are going to recap the team news for this evening as we prepare for kickoff. Let's start with your home team for this evening, Plymouth Argyle, and your starting 11 are as follows: Michael Cooper, Macaulay Gillespie, Jordan Houghton, James Wilson, Joe Edwards, Ryan Hardy, Niall Ennis, Barley Mumba, Morgan Whittaker, Adam Randall, and Nigel Lonvike. And on the bench we see the likes of Callum Burton, Matt Butcher, Danny Mayer, Michael Miller, Sam Cosgrove, Brendan Galloway and Freddie Isaka. One of the names we haven't spoken about actually at all at the moment is Sam Cosgrove this evening. He seems to have been, doing very well, and I think popular amongst fans with his ability, especially when he first joined Argyle, strolling on and knocking in a few goals. Do you think he'll be a potential to come on tonight?
I think it's almost certain we'll see him at some point. Depending on how the pattern of the game goes and where Argyle sit in terms of the result. He's clearly been really impactful as a substitute coming on. Couple of starts as well where perhaps he's not been able to get into the game quite as much. So I think from Argyle's perspective to have him on the bench to come on and make an impact if necessary is a valuable asset. Yeah.
Argyle seem to have. At the moment, the ability to have quite a choice number of players to choose from up front. If something maybe isn't necessarily working for them at one part of the game, there's always the option to bring someone else on. It generally does feel like that is working for them. Yeah,
it does seem to be, particularly in these home games, so far this season. Really excited tonight actually to see the combination of Hardy and Ennis with Morgan Whittaker as well. The pace and the guile and Niall Ennis's hold-up play. I think that could be a really exciting combination. Hopefully we'll see plenty of chances, and we know that all three of those have a goal threat amongst them. So if we could get them in front of the goal with some good quality chances tonight, I think that would be a really good thing. Yeah, a few goals for Argyle. That is certainly where the fun would begin this evening. Let's turn our attention now to the opposition for tonight, which is Port Vale, and their starting 11 are as follows: Jack Stevens, Dan Jones, Connor Hall, Nathan Smith,
David Worrell, Ben Garrity, James Wilson, captained by Tom Conlon, Malvin Benning, Gavin Massey and Daniel Butterworth. And we spoke earlier, Ian, about the Port Vale side appear to be missing what we could probably class as their star striker, their star goal scorer this evening. Not necessarily going to make too much of an impact, you don't think, or certainly not anything that's going to particularly rumble Argyle that much?
I think from Port Vale's perspective, they'll be really looking to get a good start to the game.
Yeah.
You know, they'll be desperate to limit Argyle's opportunities. You know, and make sure that they don't fall behind in the game, because I think that if Argyle go ahead here with the crowd behind them, that could be you know, it's great for us, but obviously not so much for Port Vale. But you know, if they can get to half-time and frustrate Argyle, and you know, maybe we don't expect necessarily teams that come here to have loads of possession. So if they sit back and let Argyle pass the ball around, but you know, try and stay compact and limit the chances that we have, that could be the approach they take. You know, and then the longer the game goes on, the more frustrated you know the home team could get. So fingers crossed it doesn't pan out like that. But I'm sure you know, from their point of view, Port Vale will be looking to get a good start to the game. You know, put Argyle under some pressure and at some point create some chances of their own.
Yeah, we want to see a good game of football tonight, certainly. Don't forget, please get in touch with us on social media. I would read some of your comments out at the moment, but my hand is very unfortunately frozen in place around the microphone. I do know there was someone, I think over in the Devonport end, requesting green and white blankets instead of the green and white flags they use for the Argyle displays. So I mean, I'd definitely be up for one if there was one going, but we will be having a look at your social comments at halftime, certainly. So do get them in now and let us know your thoughts ahead of the game and particularly your thoughts during the first half of the game as well. Ian, we've got just a couple of minutes to have a final quick chat before we hand over to the comms team this evening. How much pressure do you think Port Vale are going to put on Argyle tonight, realistically?
I think you know, it's perhaps more likely that they sit off, that they invite Argyle to have the ball in certain areas of the pitch, but they'll certainly be looking to limit Argyle's chances in and around their box. So it might well be, you know, I think we've had these games so far this season where Argyle and everyone and the fans need to show that patience and if you like the time and the space that we're going to shift the ball around, you know, move Port Vale, hopefully then open up some gaps and get some chances that way. But it might not be that it goes our way right from the start. You know, we might have to show that patience and, you know, wear Port Vale down, maybe utilise those substitutes if we have to. Or we could come out and score a really early goal, and that would be great, and we can all relax. But you know, hopefully it could be that way instead. But no, I think, you know, we look at Argyle's lineup today. I'm really excited by the attacking options they've got. I think the defence, you know, more and more through the season, they'll build those relationships. Communication should get better and better. So it's a strong Argyle side. But by the same token, Port Vale will be coming here looking to upset the odds and get that result. Yeah,
I mean, as with all things football, you never truly know which way it's going to go, do you?
No, you don't. And you know, I've been looking forward to the game all day. You know, the atmosphere around the ground now is really building. It's fantastic out here, and you know, can't wait now for the game to kick off.
Yeah, you're right, Ian. It is very much starting to build the atmosphere behind us here at Home Park. I think we've got most of the fans in the stadium at the moment. There are still a few gaps to fill, and I'm sure those fans will be coming in over the next 15 minutes. Ian, dare I push you for a score prediction, or are you going to remain elusive?
Well, I actually quite like Pilgrim Pete's suggestion of 3-1. Maybe we prefer a clean sheet, but yeah, as long as there's plenty going in at Argyle's end, you know, that could be a good thing. So yeah, I'll stick with Pilgrim Pete, shall I? 3-1.
Possibly the first time anyone has taken Pilgrim Pete's advice on Argyle TV, but there is a first time for everything. 3-1 then from Ian and the man himself, Pilgrim Pete. Let's have a quick look at some of the other games going on elsewhere tonight, just before we start our game this evening. Ones to look out for: Ipswich versus Fleetwood, Bolton versus Bristol Rovers, and Peterborough versus Barnsley are some of the interesting ones in particular. We will, of course, be bringing you updates throughout halftime when we touch base with you again, so we can see how those games are going. Okay, I think we are just about ready. I make it 7:30. The action for you watching is just moments away. A reminder that you can watch the game wherever you are in the world. It will cost you just £10, and it is on Argyle TV. It is Argyle against Port Vale, and you will now be in the company of the wonderful Charlie Price and Katie Middleton to talk you through all the action. I will see you again at half-time.
Argyle TV, 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 Arg
Well, Friday nights weren't necessarily made for football. Saturday is normally the day, isn't it? But here we are, the first game of December. Well, the weather's turning a little bit, lots of hats, scarves and jackets. But it's a busy month, a month that could be profitable for Argyle. And if they are to do any damage this season, you'll be hoping that today could be the start of a good month. Port Vale, the visitors, and it's the first time that supporters will have seen football here for a month. That 4-2 victory over Exeter City seems such a long time ago. But they're out in force. The